Hugh Freeze expects a breakout year for Jeremiah Cobb. Last night proved that could totally happen.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Darrell Dapprich, Montgomery radio legend, hanging out with us and joining us from the Jordan Hare press box. Just, about an hour after the end of Auburn's 42-3 win over Ball State. Darrell, you just got back from Hugh Freeze's presser. And let's start with Jeremiah Cobb, who was extremely explosive last night, to say the least. 11 carries, 121 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. You take that. Hugh Freeze saying that he could have a breakout year, and last night proved exactly why that could be the case.
He said he had a couple people earmarked that he felt like were going to have a breakout year, and Jeremiah Cobb was one of them. He said he just likes the way he's running the football, his vision, his cutting ability. The only thing he said he needs to improve on, and maybe the difference probably why I would think he wasn't the starter initially at the beginning of the year, is his pass protection. He said he'd like him to be a little bit bigger. He can't help that. But he said, look, if we would have kept him in the game and gave him 5 or 6 more touches, he could have had an historic night. And he didn't want to do that based upon having Alston already hurt, and he didn't want both of them out. But he was very, very complimentary of him. And I think watching him run tonight is kind of what we thought he could be. You know, this is his 3rd year, but he could push the pile. He could bounce it outside. He showed breakaway speed. Just a really nice overall night for Jeremiah Cobb.
Yeah, and you can tell the way he runs is pretty, technically sound. Like, his pads stay square, 100% of the time. You can tell he's been coached to through contact, lower his pads and really run behind them. You can tell that, he's become more of a full running back, I think, than, he was kind of slotted to be the slot/gadget guy. And no, he's a running back. He's a complete running back. I do wonder how both him and Damari can have breakout years. That's going to be tough to me. If you argue impact, anybody can have a breakout year, right? But statistically, he doesn't have the stat line if Damari's healthy, I don't think, right? So it's kind of tricky. Be sure, I agree with what you're saying because he just did that, but what he just did isn't a normal situation.
And Damari hasn't done anything on the field that would have him lose his job, right? Statistically, he was better against a better defense than Cobb was, and you never want to lose that label of number 1 running back or first guy on the depth chart because of an injury. I think what they could do, Zach, is they could use them and their strengths and their attributes in different scenarios and situations for skill sets. That thunder and lightning thing that I've talked about for years, is Cobb the back that, if you need 3rd and 4, we'll push the pile, or is that Alston? Is Cobb Cobb to me has shown more of the home run hitter type. He gets in the open field and he's gone. And
sure.
Alston has showed the guy that gets 8, 9, 10 yards. So, Cobb had 11 yards carry tonight or last night. So I would think you'd be able to be creative enough to use them in situations that could acclimate both their strengths. The interesting thing for me is going to be when Alston is healthy, are they now going to get the same number of carries? Is it going to be 10 and 10? Is it going to be 14 and 8, one way or the other?
16 and 16, like we saw against Baylor.
Right.
If they played Baylor again next week and you had to divide those 32 carries up, is it still even? I don't know. I don't know.
Again,
and I don't know what I think is best. I don't have a full. I think Cobb represents a lot more upside, but his pass protection is a liability.
It's a liability.
It's a problem.
It'll hurt you. It'll hurt you in an SEC game. And again, as much as I love Jeremiah Cobb, I've loved him for 3 years. I've talked about him a lot. He did what he did tonight against Ball State. Alston did it against a Power 4 in Baylor. So
Right.
we'll see. I mean, I would imagine, if I had to guess, Austin stays out one more game just to be safe
No reason for it.
and plays against Oklahoma, and then you'll
Yep.
have your whole, you'll have all your backs available to you.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. The running back situation is interesting. Like, I mean, even again in the game against Ball State, you saw Omar get a carry before Darrell did, but Darrell played at the end of the second half before Omar did. And then after Omar get his handful of touches, Darrell comes in and pops one for 50 plus for a touchdown. It's like, I don't know what you do with a lot of this running back room.
Look, he played at UConn and he played a lower level of football, but that doesn't dictate speed. Speed is speed regardless of what level it is. And he got the corner, and I actually put video up on X to where he was running right towards me. I said Darrell was running at Darrell. It was pretty funny. But anyway,
I'm sure that was a hit.
It was a hit.
That.
In the open field, he did have another gear. And again, I know, but speed doesn't care what division of football you play. And
that's true.
He could be that guy that when Cobb and Austin pound people for 3 quarters and the defense is heavy-legged, you give him that crack, that seam, he's gone. So I'm glad he got some carries, and I would suspect that he's going to get some carries. I was very impressed with Omar Mapson and the way he ran the ball in his leg drive. He pushed piles. I mean, they couldn't bring him down.
Yeah, the kid's supposed to be playing high school football still.
And just, I guess he had 3 carries for 21 yards or something like that. But again, every running back that played.
4 for 25.
Okay, good deal. There was one that I missed. I must have been walking down. But all the running backs played really, really well. And Auburn, the ratio was 60-40. What Hugh Freeze mentioned in the press conference from throwing it. Was surprised that he mentioned that Deuce Knight didn't throw it more, to complete more passes. He said because he does it all practice. He said, I'm surprised he didn't complete more balls. So that's interesting as well.
I had some problems with how Deuce Knight was handled. Let me talk to you about that in a second, if you don't mind. Right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Supply House. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep as early as tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in business. Darrell, you know the importance. You run a company. You all do all sorts of things. You need stuff to work, and you need the parts in place quickly. Supply House can do that.
And they'll get it to you on the weekend. I noticed that too. I mean, a lot of times you want to do your maintenance when things are down on the weekend where you're not open for business normally in production. That's a big thing that you could still get there and pick up the part gets delivered.
You can join their free Trademaster program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Kia Autosport of Columbus. You can browse their full inventory, start saving today at KiaAutosportColumbus.com. Go see them. If you're in the Auburn, Opelika area, you need a car or thinking about a car. If you're in Atlanta, Columbus is kind of right in the middle of those two. And we got a lot of Atlanta listeners as well. Drive over to Columbus, right off of Whittlesey Boulevard. Check out our friends at Kia Autosport Columbus. You can save up to $3,000 right now with the summer Kia savings event off of any new Kia Sorento or most new Kia Sorentos. And hey, if you mention Locked On Auburn, if you mention the show, you can save $500 off of any new Kia. I mean, come on, Darrell, come on. So head over to Kia Autosport Columbus or visit the website KiaAutosportColumbus.com. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Darrell Dapprich hanging out with us from Jordan-Hare Stadium. So fun. First time we get to do this year. I love that Deuce got to play. I think, with the flow of the game and Auburn not scoring as much as quickly as we thought that they would, I think when they put him in that drive, it was the right move. The thing I didn't like, and I spent a lot of time on this last night. If you missed my live reaction, go check that out on this channel or audio feed, wherever you're consuming the content. But I don't like that they just platooned everyone. I said this pretty consistently last week, where I'm like, if you're gonna let Deuce play, which it seemed like that was gonna happen, just take Jackson out and put Deuce in. If you want to take Cam out, that's fine or whatever. But I just don't feel like Auburn put Deuce in a situation to succeed in those first few drives. And I think they should have done that differently.
I actually was privy to a conversation that was off to the side after the press conference where somebody brought up something similar to that to Hugh Freeze, just like in a one-on-one conversation about playing him more with the first stringers. And the comment that I heard was that was the plan, but he got in so much later that they weren't able to do that. Auburn thought, and he's never going to say this publicly because it's so disrespectful of your opponent. Auburn thought Deuce Knight would have been in early in the third quarter. Honestly, we all did.
That's what we thought. I mean, when we were having the hypothetical conversation, that's what we were thinking.
So when it's 21-0, you can't put him in. Even when it's 28-0, they couldn't put him in. They waited till it got to 35. I think the coaching staff thought it would be that midway through the third quarter, they would have been able to put him in there and keep in some of the starters. By the time he got in, you want to play your backups and you want to pull your starter. So it was just the time that he entered the game had a lot to do with it.
Yeah. Makes sense. I just think they should have done that for one more drive. I don't think one more drive with other guys would have hurt, but
I hope I don't get busted for eavesdropping on a conversation, but that happens all the time. People walk up to him at the table. I did it last week and ask questions when the press conference is over, and he's very candid. He answers.
Yeah, I mean, if he didn't want people to know, he would have answered the question.
Exactly.
Cool. You asked them about Jackson. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Share what you asked Freeze and what the answer was and what we think the impact of that is.
I noticed that it looked like, and it's something that you and I talked about and hoped and prayed for, that Jackson Arnold will not be running the football a lot during this game. Well, Hugh Freeze said, yeah, by design, we did not call one design quarterback run for Jackson Arnold, and we called one the whole game, and it was a quarterback draw for Deuce Knight. Thought they could get him in the open field. He said there was no need to call any design runs for Jackson, and anything he did was either improvised or on his own, scrambling out of trouble. So what we kind of thought would happen did, and he only ran the ball out of necessity to avoid a sack when there were soft coverage and there wasn't a receiver open. I like that. I like that a lot. I think the thing about what that does for Auburn is it gives defensive coordinators an either or. Is Auburn going to come and play us heavy on the RPO game and let Jackson run it 16 or 17 times?
Right.
Or are they going to let him throw it for 24? I mean, how about this? Brian Matthews, shout out to him, did a little research and asked Hugh Freeze. He was one completion off of setting the all-time completion percentage record in a football game for Auburn.
Interesting.
And Freeze looked and said, we should have got him that. And he said, if it wasn't, Freeze said it was his play calling, he should have been 26 of 28 instead of 24 of 28. And it was things that Freeze called against soft coverage where he said, I wasn't patient. I still wanted to go downfield, and it was slow developing, and it cost him. If it was quick hitters, we could have gotten him the completion percentage record. So for all the people that were complaining about how he looked, and I saw that on social media, it just blew my mind.
It's wild. I mean, I'm getting
24 of 28
stuff right now about like, well, how did he look worse against Ball State than Baylor? And I'm like,
24 of 28 for 255 yards. Are you kidding me?
251 and 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns. Yeah. I mean, I can't even. I'm not even going to answer that kind of stuff's not even worth dignifying a response to.
Yeah, and like, does that tell the full story? No, like there were some issues, and I'll probably start focus on some of the stuff that we needed to get cleaned up a little bit more tomorrow. I mean, we're recording this, shortly after the game, and we're excited. Auburn's 2-0. A big chunk of college football can't say that, which is great. But I think, like I just don't fully get the desire for negativity, especially when we all kind of agreed throughout the week that you're not going to do a lot of RPO. They're not going to do a whole lot of running, which is I mean, we can say we can say what we want about his passing efficiency tonight, but like I like his legs more. I don't know. I just don't get it, Darrell. Like it's fascinating how negative people are to this. And it's like we should have beaten Ball State by more. I'm like, well, the line was 42.5. That's what the smartest people that analyze these games said.
And it was what, 39? We beat 39.
And you missed the field goal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. So
pretty much dead on.
I also know that game was called very bland and very vanilla. There was confirmation on that. Talked to some coaches underneath the out when you come out of the press conference underneath the stands. The route tree was a little bit more simple than you'll see perhaps. Sure. So, I mean, let's just take that and understand that the passing game, I don't even know what Auburn, the balance was good. They threw for over 300 and rushed for over 200, right? I mean, I think that's what the final stat showed. Maybe it was 272 and 244. I don't remember. I looked at the stats in the press conference.
Yeah, so 40-95 total, 271 passing, 224 rushing.
Yeah, I mean,
you allowed 68 total yards, by the way.
And it was and those 68 yards came because they got life on two brutal calls from a penalty standpoint that extended drives. It should have never been called. The face mask wasn't a face mask. And the fumble was
that's ridiculous.
I can't even believe that you can't even look at that. I mean, that is just so
the fumble, and then shortly after they wanted to nail Sylvester for the targeting.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do? Like, you think like it's just so, like what they did was so disrespectful to all the fans in attendance, to all the players that are like working their tails off to like prepare for this. It's like, what are you doing making this about you? Like, what in the world is going on in your life where you have to do this crappy of a job to feel somewhat justified? It's crazy.
It was so evident that they were injecting themselves into the game. I don't understand why there was no need. Auburn was absolutely manhandling Ball State statistically, line of scrimmage, everything. And then
everything.
Again, they called the face mask, which wasn't. They called they didn't give Auburn the fumble. They almost called targeting on a textbook tackle leading with your shoulder. Sylvester Smith hit people tonight as hard as I've seen an Auburn safety since Aaron Savage.
It was
back
rough.
in the day. It was rough.
It was rocking some people.
But I mean, I can't. Somebody said the Connor Lew hold was a horrible call. I can't tell. I couldn't tell.
So I don't think it was actually on Connor, because like they circled Connor in the broadcast, but on that play, like I think it was on Dylan Wade.
Okay.
On the replay.
Yeah.
Because Dylan's hooking somebody, like he's behind him, pulling him back away from the quarterback. I think they just I don't think that was on Connor. I think they just got the wrong player.
I think it was too, because the next drive Dylan Wade wasn't in the game. So it made a lot of sense to me.
Good observation there. Yeah.
And he got up, kind of was shaking his head when the flag was like literally thrown 3 feet from his feet.
Should have. He helped.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of the offensive line at times looked really good. At times people were concerned about pass pro. And I don't think there's any concern through 2 games about the run blocking. I think Auburn's doing a really good job getting off the ball, controlling the line of scrimmage. And if you have a problem with pass pro, the fast RPO stuff will be fine. And so I'm not worried about that at all. Auburn will do what it needs to do to cover up any inefficiencies and deficiencies they have. I will say this. It was so nice to see how fast Eric Singleton really is in person, because against Baylor, I didn't see it that much, but on the jet sweeps, on the screen pass that he went out a couple of possessions earlier in the game, and everyone didn't think he would come back in the game. The screen pass he took at the 11, Zach, the burst, I haven't seen it. It was another gear, and I get it. It's Ball State, but it's still college athletes. And he hit from the 11-yard line to the 3-yard line was as quick of a burst that I've seen.
Yeah.
Sam Coleman looked good tonight. My man Horatio Fields looked really, really good tonight. Caught the ball.
He's going to be Mr. Steady. He's the guy that Jackson trusts.
Possession receiver, 3rd and 6 over the middle, up the seam. Perry Thompson made a nice catch where he got the ball, got his arms underneath the football, kept it off the grass. Nothing to complain about. I mean, look, you're not going to play a perfect football game, and I get it. It was 42-3, but, Auburn has won games like that in the past, 35-15, 35-14, 35-17. I mean, and it could have been a lot worse. I mean, let's be honest. If Auburn would have – the play calling would have been a little different the second half of the fourth quarter. It could have gotten to 49. So not worried about that at all. You find what you need to correct. You correct it. I suspect South Alabama is going to be a stiffer test, tougher opponent.
Yeah, barely lost to Tulane. So.
Who's a good football team. Tulane's a good football team. So they always give people trouble, let's put it that way.
Yeah, they do.
Summerall's a really, really good coach. So South Alabama,
and Tulane every year for the foreseeable future, as long as we keep this model for the college football playoff, Tulane's going to be one of the favorites for that G5 spot every year. And so South Alabama went toe to toe with them. All right. A few other thoughts about this game coming up, including the guy who stole the show, in my opinion. That's next right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Game Time. I'm not buying tickets anywhere but Game Time. You're not buying tickets anywhere but Game Time. Obviously, college football is back, rocking and rolling. If you want to go see Auburn host South Alabama next week, or you want to get the early jump on Auburn going to Norman in 2 weeks, Darrell, where should they go and why?
Game Time. Get your seats. Everything's inclusive. You can pick the option where all the fees are included. Those lightning deals are really, really cool. You just click on that lightning bolt and it shows you which section that they're in. I use them. I've used them. I use them for plays. Like you said, we've used them for concerts.
Yeah. It's the only app I use to buy tickets.
It's all inclusive. You can do whatever you want from an entertainment or sports standpoint.
That's right. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Today's show is also brought to you by the Game Cap. This is like the only hat I've been wearing lately, Darrell. I love it. It's vintage. It's retro. They've got the bar style ones.
I'm wearing that one Sunday night. Sunday night to tomorrow night for the live. I'm going to bust out my bar one.
All right. There we go. And I'll probably wear this because this is like the main hat that I'm wearing right now. Yeah, it's got the 80s and 90s feel. But the cool thing is you can buy one and it costs the same as it did in the 80s and 90s. When you use code Locked On, you can get a vintage hat for $16.99. So that's at the Games Caps, blah, blah, blah. TheGameCaps.com. Use code Locked On to get a nice exclusive deal. That's at TheGameCaps.com. All right, final few minutes here on today's edition of Locked On Auburn, recapping Auburn's 42-3 win over Ball State. I said this a little bit in my live last night, Darrell. Xavier Atkins blew me away. He blew me away, and like he had some big hits and he had some tackles, but so instinctive. First step. I mean, what did we say over and over and over again when we talked about linebackers? Like it was DeMarcus Riddick, and who was going to be that guy next to him? Would it be Robert Woodyard? Or if Xavier Atkins could put it all together?
Well, I missed it.
That's what we heard from LSU, right? It's like, it's just, could he put it all together? He has put it all together. He looked great against Ball State.
I thought Caleb Wheatland was going to be that guy, so I missed the mark. Now, if you would have told me that as good as Riddick is, that Atkins was going to play at this level, I would have even been more impressed and praising the D. So, I mean, he played in an all SEC level tonight. It's the only way you can describe it. He just did. And he was he is so fast, such a really, really good nose for the football, like hits the right gaps, knows where the ball carrier's coming through.
Yep.
Just really, I mean, just stuck out. And then Woodyard's the one that made the strip on the fumble, and that should have been Atkins.
Game-changing play. Yeah.
Atkins is playing really, really well. And boy, that is that's big for Auburn because it gives you a lot of linebacker depth too. Because Melendez played a lot, made some sticks. Diaz had 2 or 3 tackles that I thought I heard over the loudspeaker, maybe not, maybe it was assist, but he looked good.
Yeah,
too.
no, he was pretty rangy, which is
Yeah.
kind of what we thought. I'm shocked that he's playing as much as he is so far.
Well,
good. It's great.
I love it because what it helps so much in recruiting when you can show footage of freshmen playing when you're recruiting high school seniors to come to your school the next year. It's invaluable. It's not just lip service. And I'm going to tell you, I have never, ever, since I've been covering games here for the last 3 years and been credentialed, seen as many visitors in the recruiting dining area in the stadium that I saw tonight.
It was against Ball State.
It was packed.
Against Ball State.
Yep. Wall to wall. Couldn't move, hard to get through, how hard to maneuver. So
Georgia's going to be crazy.
I mean, there were some videos that I sent you, some short blurbs with some players after the game.
Yeah, we'll post them on our socials throughout the weekend.
And I can't remember maybe it was Singleton or I can't remember who, but you'll see it that talked about just the playing in this environment is incredible. He talked about the light show. Well, one of the cool things, Zach, and I don't think it came through on television,
sure,
is while that was going on, that quarter light show for the fourth quarter, the players, all the players were on the field dancing and having a great time.
Yeah. Auburn football socials posted it.
Oh, it was swag. It was during the swag surf. Yeah. When they were doing that and the lights were going and all that. So yeah, that's a lot of fun and that's good to have recruits here to see that.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. I mean, you want people in the stands to be envious of the people on the field.
Yep.
I want to be a part of that. And hopefully that message got put across. That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. Darrell, how can people check out everything you've got going? Anything else that Hugh said that we need to talk about? Just real quick.
I
was reading the notes about it. It didn't really seem like there was.
There was one little funny sidebar. He talked about he nicknamed Xavier Atkins TikTok, and he said that he actually was able to pull Hugh Freeze into a couple of them in the locker room. So look for those. That's got to be hilarious.
That's great.
Yeah,
TikTok.
Just a little fun little anecdote there to end on.
That's fun. That's fun. How can people check out everything you've got going on?
Follow me on X, DAP6410, and then Wednesdays and Fridays normally with you during the week on Locked on Auburn. Of course, our reaction show like we did today. And then tonight, The Barn. We'll be going live with Kyle Rush to do a little recap as well.
Please like the video. Please subscribe. And if you're tuned in on audio, please subscribe and leave us a review. Helps the show out a ton. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.